Welcome back, everybody, and all my dino donuts. Now, it's been a few days already since I finally saw Jurassic World Rebirth, and I have a lot to say about it, and I'm gonna do a quick review here. It's not gonna be too long. I'm not gonna talk about it for 20 years. I know it's kind of late. It's been over 20 days now since it released, and that feels kind of weird to do. So let's get started. First, I want to obviously get my initial review, like, what I would rate it and what I actually thought of it, and then I'll tell you my thoughts on the other stuff, such as story, characters, obviously dinosaurs. Starting off, I need to mention, I am going to be completely honest with you, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me because I heard this movie has been getting tons of bad reviews, so I bet people are going to disagree with me. I mean, of course they would, but the majority of people would disagree. But I genuinely think this might be the best one we've had since the original. And I'm going to give it a solid 8.5 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10, which is a really good score. I know, I only saw it once, and I plan on seeing it a second time and maybe a third time when they release it on, home video, whatever you call it, a digital release, I forgot, what do you call it? And then by then I'll probably do extra videos on it. They'll probably release deleted scenes, which is an extra video I get to do talking about it. So now I can talk about the other stuff, and first thing I have to say is the story itself. We already know the story, most likely. Again, this is going to have tons of spoilers, okay? Now, the story. So, I'm assuming you already know the story. Even people that didn't see it yet kind of know the story. Basically, team of people, sort of two teams technically if you count the family, go to an island again to get, DNA from the three biggest dinosaurs, even though it's only technically one dinosaur and two other creatures that aren't dinosaurs. But apparently they're using the DNA for curing diseases and stuff, which even though Martin Krebs becomes a bad guy towards the end, I'm pretty sure it's still true, even though he's a bad guy. It's a pretty simple story, and I feel like that's what makes it not really bad. It's kind of like Jurassic Park 3 simple, a little more complicated. I'd say it's more like The Lost World, while also being a lot like Jurassic Park 3. The story is alright. I feel like it's definitely not the best part, but it's not bad, it's not too crazy, not too it's honestly, I feel like they do a good job with the characters and everything, which I will talk about in a moment, but they make them feel more real, and the dinosaurs, but I will say though, the first half of the movie is pretty long. I see what Gareth Edwards meant when he said a few months ago that the movie is 50% in the water. I see what he means. One of the main things I wanted to talk about is the visuals. Now, I don't know if many people will agree with me on this, but I think the visuals in this movie are definitely right next to the first Jurassic Park. But the visuals, for me, are super good. The dinosaurs look so, a lot more real than we've had the past. There's no animatronics, too, at least I don't think. So I'm surprised they made it look that real to me. The dinosaurs look super good. And not just that, but the visuals, the environment felt way more alive than the past 5 movies. Sort of. Okay, maybe the past 3 movies, I'd say at least, because Jurassic Park 3 and The Lost World feel very real. The last 3 movies, definitely, this is better, okay? This is better than the last 3 movies. So the last 3 movies look way more fake. Stuff in the water looks real, when the mosasaur comes out, it looks huge. Gareth Edwards definitely does a great job on making things look big, because the dinosaurs in this look big, okay? T-Rex. Now, the dinosaurs in this, as I already mentioned, look really good, and there's a pretty good roster of species, tons of random ones that kind of show up for certain scenes, makes the environment kind of feel more real. For example, when Martin Krebs is driving off, they have the Ankylosaur show up. There's tons of other random stuff, tons of new ones too, such as random little amphibian creatures, I forgot what it was called, but a green little bird thing, I forgot what that was called. They even have a Dunkleosteus in one point. It wasn't on the island, but that surprised me a lot. I was not expecting it. It was a dead body. Now, I will do a separate video talking about each and every species, so I'll mostly talk about the main dinosaurs and their scenes. So first of all, the Spinosaurus and Mosasaur, which obviously work together in the movie, I guess. Now, as I already mentioned, I love the Mosasaur the way it was in this movie. The design, I definitely preferred over the one from Jurassic World. It looks super good. And the Spinosaurs too. I even like the Spinosaurs. I don't know, something about them. I do prefer the one from Jurassic Park 3, but I still really like the ones in this movie. The Mosasaur got tons of screen time. The Spinosaurs got some pretty good screen time. I do wish we got to see them on land. There was like one small scene with one of the characters where they died, and it was kind of on land, but it was kind of hidden. We didn't see it really any at all on land, which upsets me because I wish we could have saw that. But hey, better than no Spinosaurus, and it still got pretty cool scenes in the water. The Titanosaurs also, I really like the Titanosaurs. Had a really beautiful scene with Henry Loomis and all that stuff. And definitely reminds me a lot of the Brachiosaurs. It would have been cool if they were like secretly like dangerous, as I already mentioned in a previous video. It'd be cool if they were like secretly like half herbivore and carnivores, so just randomly they pick up one of the mercenaries and eats them. That would have been kind of cool, but obviously that didn't end up happening, but still would have been fun. The Quetzalcoatlus got like alright screen time. I will say it definitely got more than Dominion. Oh, and I do prefer the design in this over Dominion, personally. But it still got good screen time. Probably more than Dominion. And, Leclerc's, I think that was his name. His death scene was brutal. He was, like, swallowed whole. Like, ooh. Still alive, probably, while he was in there. It's scary. My favorite dinosaur, obviously, in this movie, personally, okay, is the T-Rex itself. The river raft scene from the novel was awesome. It's exactly how I would have imagined it to look if they, actually made that river raft scene. Obviously with a more modern look, but it still looks so good. And the T-Rex design, I really love the design. Definitely prefer it over the ones from the past, like, I don't know, 5 movies. Because, I don't know, the design was so cool. It was super bulky. It was kind of green, I think. Kind of like the buck T-Rex, but a little less green, but it looked big in this. Gareth Edwards does a good job on making everything look super big. Again, T-Rex. But yeah, I really love that scene. And like, it was genuinely kind of scary, honestly. Like when the raft pops up and then it goes back down and the T-Rex is missing, like, ooh, that scared me. Now, for the, Dolores, adorable. I love Dolores. Now, it does remind me a lot of Bumpy, but I still really like Dolores. I feel like they did a pretty good job with Dolores. Even though we didn't really need it, it just, you could tell it's like a Baby Yoda sort of thing, but I still really like the Dolores. Very adorable. Now, the last dinosaur I want to talk about before I move on to, the mutants, is kind of actually perfectly transitions into the mutant section. The Velociraptors. Now, we all know how important the raptors are into these movies, and we are excited to see them be scary again after the past few movies where they weren't scary, and we were like so excited when they revealed that awesome design, probably my favorite design out of all the raptors, me personally. I was so hyped, I was so excited, and guess what? All wasted on a joke that's very similar to the Ceratosaurus from Jurassic Park 3. A pee joke. Dagnabbit. It just got killed off by the Mutodons. That Velociraptor scene upset me. I was so excited to see so much cool raptors, and sadly, no. There is, however, I heard that there was a deleted scene that they will most likely, probably, reveal very soon. Probably when the movie releases on Blu-ray or something. And, I'm excited to talk about that and showcase it then. But for now, we don't have that, and I want to see it. But we should have gotten more raptors in the normal release. Anyway, mutants. Starting off with, obviously, as I already mentioned, the Mutodon. I did not really like the Mutodons that much, I'm gonna be honest with you. They annoyed me so much. Now, apparently, because they got a lot of screen time. Apparently, though, they were originally going to actually be the two-headed raptors. What we saw in the trailer was a placeholder before the Mutadons. Dagnabbit, Edwards, that would have been so much better than the Mutadons. If you really wanted it to fly, just give it a two-headed raptor wings. That would have been so cool, but nope. Sadly, we just got Mutadon. And I did not like Mutadon that much. It annoyed me so much. I wish we saw just, like I said, two-headed raptor, or maybe just normal raptors. More normal raptors would have been fine. Or even the camouflage incarnators. They keep adding so much stuff into this that are from the novel, and no camouflage incarnators. We saw teases for a Carnotaur, and they didn't even have it in this. And it would have. This is such a similar scene to the Carnotaur thing with the gas station, the power stuff, and whatever. So dang similar, but they just decided nope. Now the last species I want to talk about, I'm not talking about every dinosaur, there's only 2 mutants. Not every dinosaur. I'll talk about the background dinosaurs more in a different video. For now though, the D-Rex. It's time to talk about the Distortus Rex, or Deformed King. I think that was one of the names, I think. Now, as I said, I did not like the Mutadon, but I did really like the D-Rex, okay? I'm gonna be honest with you. Something about it, they just did it right. It looked huge, and I don't know, they really made it look intimidating, even though it only got 2 scenes, which was the first scene and last scene. You know, the one in the lab with the guy that left his Snickers bar and caused it to malfunction the door, and it escaped and ate that guy with all the red fog. And obviously the second scene being the last scene, which is a pretty big scene where it is like, you know, trying to kill everyone, and it killed Martin Krebs and whatever. It was really cool. They just did it right. And the stuff with Duncan, you know, they made it seem like it really was about to kill him. I don't even know how both of them survived, but they did. And that reminds me, they made the D-Rex survive. We're finally going to get a reoccurring villain dinosaur, which we've never really seen. Spinosaur didn't show up again until King Cretaceous, so you can't really say that. But like for the actual movies, seems like that's what they're doing for the D-Rex, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited to see more of it, because I actually genuinely really liked it for some reason. I don't know. Something about it, I feel like they did it right. I liked it. I think it was really cool. Again, I'll talk about it more in other videos, because I'll do a lot more videos after this talking about it. And I am going to get the toy soon, so I got to talk about its design and other stuff in that. But overall, loved the D-Rex. And when it came out of the fog with the helicopter in its mouth, that surprised me so much. I was not expecting that. I was like, oh my goodness. And I don't know, the D-Rex was honestly one of the best parts of that movie. I think I can move on to the last parts of this video. Now, next up, I'm going to talk about the characters. Starting off with, you know, the main characters, Scarlett Johansson, I forgot her name, Zora Bennett. Oh yeah, Zora Bennett, Dr. Henry Loomis, and Dunkin' Donuts, or Duncan Kincaid. Now, my favorite character of this movie is obviously Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know, he was just the best character of this movie. He's a GOAT, and I'm surprised they genuinely almost made it seem like he was gonna die, and then he survived, and I kind of like that. I kind of wanted to see more of him anyway, and I feel like it would have been kind of similar to Billy in Jurassic Park 3, you know, how they genuinely were gonna have him die, and then, like, I'm pretty sure they even confirmed that they filmed both a version where he dies and doesn't, and people preferred the one where he doesn't die, so they decided to use that in the movie. So, I mean, I kind of liked it. I feel like something about him actually dying would have made me kind of sad. Even though I know a lot of people were like, oh, he's a stupid, fake out sacrifice. But I don't know, they just did it in a way that I liked, and I thought it was kind of genuinely made me kind of sad until he randomly showed up. You can kind of tell where I would imagine it would have cut to them leaving without him. They just added it in there. You can kind of tell where that part is. Just something about Dunkin' Donuts he's a very fun character, and my favorite of the movie. My second favorite is either Henry Loomis or Martin Krebs. Now, he was obviously the villain, but Dr. Henry Loomis, I feel like he was kind of enjoyable for some reason. He was just like kind of a fun character, lab guy, paleontologist, whatever, that just kind of enjoyed being around dinosaurs, even though it doesn't really make sense how he was so happy to see the titanosaurs in the wild when he probably sees dinosaurs every day. doesn't really make sense. And I love how, like, throughout the movie they just randomly have him, like, chewing on, like, those mint things he brings with him. That made me laugh each time. Where he's just kind of sitting there, like, and everyone else is like, ooh, what is he doing? And, you know, Zora Bennett was, I think she's a pretty cool character. Nothing too crazy about her, but she's still kind of fun to watch. Now, for Martin Krebs, I know he's the bad guy, but for some reason something about him for me was enjoyable to watch. I'm not sure why. Something about him. I don't know if it's because he did some funny stuff. It kind of reminds me of, like, Dennis Nedry and Vic Hoskins, like, mixed together or something, I don't know. Or maybe even a little bit of Dotson, like, and the scene where he escapes with the DNA samples reminds me a lot of Dennis Nedry. As I mentioned, there's an ankylosaur in that scene. But yeah, so he's kind of enjoyable. Oh, and his death scene with the D-Rex is pretty cool. There's a lot of deaths in this movie, which I was kind of surprised by. Like, you know, I know that it was mostly side characters, pretty much all side characters, but they kind of made them not really seem too much like side characters. You kind of know them a little bit, and then they die. The family, I want to talk about the family real quick. They didn't need to have the family there. They were not bad, but, like, it felt like a way more forced version of the Kirbys. Like, I don't know, like, they weren't bad, and I kind of enjoyed them a bit. I like how they made, like, that whole plot line where that teenage girl's, like, upset because Martin Krebs, like, threw him off the boat or something. Or not throw, he didn't throw her off the boat. He just kind of stood there and was like, yeah, fall to your death, kid. Which, by the way, that's a lot like Dotson from the novel. I can tell David Koepp probably got inspiration from that, even though I feel like it would have been more accurate if it was literally throwing her off. Besides that, that's a pretty cool reference to the novel, I'd say. But that's pretty much it. There is, like I already mentioned, there's certain things I didn't like, and I already kind of mentioned most of those, but I feel like overall the movie is pretty fun. Great visuals, pretty alright characters, really good dinosaur moments, and a lot of inspiration from the novels. Obviously, like the Riv Raff scene, which they did so well. It's almost exactly how I would have imagined it to look like from the novel. Super good. Now, I think that's it for this video. This review of Jurassic World Rebirth. And I will talk about it a lot more in a bunch of other videos. And as I said, I'll do other videos about deleted scenes, all the species in general, and in general. I get it anyway. So I see you guys in the next one. And I'm gonna go buy me my Martin Krebs sandwich. What are you still doing here, huh? Click off. I said, click off. Well, now that you're still here, I might as well talk about the best part of the movie.